Hello, ladies and gentlemen, dude and dudettes. I'm Matt Burns, 1/3 host of The Burning Truth.
I am John Bloor, the small voice of reason and the 2/3 host of The Burning Truth.
And I am the one whole, the James Irvine.
You really leave yourself open to someone jumping in there and referring to you being the whole of an arse variety. Every time you say that, you do realise
You haven't introduced Watershed. Stop it. Why do you think I do it at the start?
I suppose in that case, this is The Burning Truth. Welcome, and I should introduce myself and do this. The following broadcast will contain discussions on professional wrestling and other topics, which may contain strong language and language not suitable for younger listeners, listeners of a nervous disposition, and potentially other listeners. This broadcast may also contain strobe lighting effects.
And strong language. But just to put it clearly, we may say some things that might upset people and may say some naughty words.
The intention is not to upset people. You know, it's to entertain them, but in doing that, we may turn the air bluer than
the sky, the sea. Go on.
I was trying to think of a suitably rude euphemism, but unfortunately, my mind failed me. Sorry about that. I was also expecting Irvine to jump in and fill the gap for me. There's a euphemism. There's a fucking open goal if ever we've got one. But he did not do that.
I was about to say, what would you like me to fill it with?
No comment. No comment.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is The Burning Truth. This is what you can come to expect over the next hour or so, because we're here to talk about wrestling and stuff.
And even include some non-wrestling topics.
Well, that's what the and stuff was implying, yes.
Yeah. But anyway, before we get onto it, we are going to have to cover our usual regular mention, basically what we are in support of before we get to the topics. Let's just state this: the Burning Truth is in full support of Black Lives Matter and hashtag Speaking Out. As we have said each and every week, we have got airtime and a mic. If anybody wants to voice their current thoughts in regards to the situation, to Black Lives Matter and Speaking Out, just as long as it's not libelous, doesn't basically no accusations or anything that could be
that hasn't been thoroughly fact-checked by a lawyer first, that could get either us or you sued, because that's not what we're doing this for.
And of course, more importantly, we don't want hashtag fake news, be honest.
And I am too petty for prison.
The deathly silence there, pretty much its own answer.
I'm sorry, but I heard sniggering.
Sniggering?
Can't you hear him?
Clean up in aisle, Matt Burns trousers. I think he's peed himself.
Don't think that I can hear Muttley in the background.
Yo, I know you can hear it. Everyone can hear it. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, right. Anyway, let's continue before.
Yeah. Let's go. Shall we?
Before Irvine has to meet a Bobby.
While we've still got some semblance of vague, before it all goes to shit, shall we start with some tragic news?
Before we get to that, I'll just run down the list of the topics that we're going to be covering in most likely, possibly, if we can, reverse order. Of course, we're going to be ending the show with our usual epic wrestling moments. We are going to be mentioning the non-wrestling topics before that. Then we might even have some NXT UK talk, which if I'm not mistaken was originally meant to be scheduled for last week, but due to time constraints, we couldn't.
Soapbox and strong language warning ahoy. We will do it again directly before the segment, but just so you know, prepare yourself in advance.
We've also got to talk about some cross-promotion work, and does it work?
Yes.
And then we've also got to talk on the opposite end of the spectrum of, let's just say, what's the best way of explaining it?
Is it the best way to say it is, I think, people in the wrestling industry from top to bottom, shall we say, overstepping their boundaries.
Good way of mentioning it, that being it either from fans, workers, promoters, promoters, bookers, and all the above. We're not.
I got some choice words.
Yes, for that
I can
one,
imagine.
there's also going to be soapbox and strong language aplenty. Be warned.
But however, unfortunately, we have got to start the show with some unfortunate somber news, which is during this week the wrestling world unfortunately had to say a tragic goodbye to a legendary wrestler that that is above and beyond, has gone above and beyond for the wrestling business. He isn't just an old schooler. He's also helped the new school with just the knowledge and, and making sure that everyone was happy and treated everybody with kindness, which is the lovable Pat Patterson.
The fantastic and obviously much missed Pat Patterson.
And he's literally felt like he's been part of the furniture for God knows how long now.
Well, he has.
He feels like he's always been there.
Yeah, and the scary thing about it is, take into account, he is the first ever Intercontinental Champion. And I know how a lot of people sit there and saying, well, it was a fake tournament, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? He was the first Intercontinental Champion.
Yes, he was the first champion in a great lineage, I'm never sure how you say that word, of champions. And here's a hint, WWE. In honour of his passing, how about you redesign the Intercontinental Championship again by doing a modern interpretation of the one he used to wear and not that god-awful fucking trinket you make Sami Zayn carry around?
How do I interrupt this one now? How do I mention this?
If you're going to tell me they've already done it,
the sort of having what they did on SmackDown, I will say, was massive props and respects by having the original belt on display, to pay tribute, the actual original.
The actual one that Pat used to carry around. Yeah. Fair enough.
Which was just absolutely amazing and wonderful throughout. Yeah. On top of that, you also got Daniel Bryan paying tribute to Pat Patterson as well.
Great. Well, who else? He will be sorely missed, as will pretty much anyone in the wrestling business who dies. Although it's quite nice, I have to be honest, for a change, not to have to say horribly ahead of their time. Because, it's sad and tragic when anyone dies, but Pat had a good run.
Oh, yeah, definitely had a good run.
The scary thing about it is, be it either, if you remember him for his Intercontinental days from when he was wrestling himself, and believe me when I say this, he had a unique way of cutting a promo to the point where if he was angry at you, you felt it.
Yes, he really did.
He could really make you feel it if he was angry at you. And he was such an amazing person. The fact that he went above and beyond, he did everything for the wrestling business. And be it, even if you remembered him in his, more of his twilight years of his wrestling career, as part of, Vince McMahon's group, as one of the, stooges, he was massively entertaining.
He absolutely was.
Although I will state, we will say nothing apart from the evening gown match.
You had to mention it, didn't you? You had to do it.
Of course.
Anyway, it's not about that. It's about remembering legacy of a great wrestler, the first ever Intercontinental Champion, and someone who will be sorely missed.
Very much.
100%.
So, with that in mind,
actually,
have you got the bells ready?
We have got the bells ready. But I'm going to be passing the mic over to Irvine.
Yeah.
All right.
A couple of weeks ago, and obviously nobody's aware that knows me, but a man that I've been very close to for the last 11 years sadly passed away 2 weeks ago. That was my uncle. And yeah, it last week, I don't know if any of you noticed, but I was pretty quiet, not my usual self. I didn't really want it mentioning last week, so this week I thought it'd be great to mention it, to put him in with the bell salute. So with it being his funeral tomorrow, it's a thingy. But like I say, if anybody else has lost somebody recently, I'd also like to send my heart out to you and add them in with this salute, along with my Uncle Dave. So over to you, Matt Burns, before I end up tearing up. And
no, that's understandable. And we are now going to be doing the 5-bell ring salute now. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for allowing us to pay honour to some people who have been so wonderful to the wrestling business and to some of us personally as well.
Indeed.
So,
with that out of the way and all respects duly paid, let's move on.
Yes, and let's get the. Do we need to get the box out?
Yeah.
The soapbox, oh yes. In fact, I think because due to the wonders of technology and us being in 3 separate places, Matt Burns in his Staffordshire mansion, Irvine in his slightly smaller Staffordshire mansion, and me in my East Anglian hovel, we've all got our own soapboxes, but trust me, they're all going to be out for this next bit, and probably for the vast majority of the remainder of the show. And with that in mind, there may also be language. This is a language warning, folks. It may get strong. No, I'm kidding. It will get strong, and it may get quite constant.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Now, I believe the best person to start this off would normally be myself, but I think someone much, much better to start us off would be Mr. Irvine.
Oh, would this be regarding the, how was it you described it, JB?
Overreaching.
What, of people sort of overstepping their boundaries a bit, sort of going boundaries above. Sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Overstepping their boundaries and believing that they are better.
Oh yeah, I think the phrase. Did I use the phrase "getting ideas above their station"? Because if not, that seems to fit.
Yeah, that seems to fit. So it's come to my attention, not just recently, but over time, that I feel that promoters of big companies, of smaller companies, local companies, are overstepping their boundaries like the bunch of fuckwits that they actually are.
Oh, you mean people who run, I don't know, maybe a wrestling show every 2 months in a small venue in their town.
Oh,
and nothing more.
It could be, to be honest with you, this could actually be aimed at either the small promotions who hardly run, a promotion who is monthly, some who are now and again, or even possibly even worldwide known and doing multiple shows, almost 3, possibly 6, between 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week.
Yeah. So
let's just say, this is a thing which isn't limited to limited show promoters. Anyone can fall prey to it, but I have a feeling the smaller end of the spectrum is where Mr. Irvine is mainly directing his ire.
Oh, yeah. I am at this moment in time, because obviously I can't aim too high because obviously we all know the big companies, we all know the middle companies, but the smaller companies, not many people do know. Now, it's my understanding that they seem to forget their place. Their place is to promote local talent.
Yes.
And to put on a decent show for an audience, irrespective of the venue, irrespective of the city, irrespective of the town. It does not matter. The promoters are there to put on a show. If they cannot use the tools that they are given, then I am afraid you are in the wrong fucking business.
Absolutely. What you're basically there to do is get the local talent who have probably put the effort in to train and to do it and may not get much of an opportunity to many other places, the shop window with which to potentially get those opportunities to work in more places.
Exactly. Now,
that is your job.
I know personally a few wrestlers that are close to me that are very grateful for the venues that have been out there throughout their younger years of wrestling, and they are so grateful to have such venues put in play, that to be there to put a wrestling show on for it, whether it be a small, medium or larger audience than what they used to. And yet you have promoters that seem to think that they are above everything and everyone that they put on a show for. I have been at particular shows with these particular...
Oh, we've all been at shows with promoters like that.
Allow me to continue. The particular shows that I've been to, and just recently there have been many, I will say that I have never, ever been disgusted by their attitude towards their audience, towards their talent, and towards the business in general. I mean, who the fuck do they think they are? If I have a message for, especially some that are local to myself, if you think that you are above and beyond what this industry is about and what venues are on offer to your tin pot fucking companies, then
which runs one show every 2 months in front of 50 people if you're lucky. Hint, it's not fucking WrestleMania.
Then what I'm going to say, JB, is go fuck yourself. The fucking road's there. Hit it, lad, because I'm sick of your bullshit. And I will call you out. Like I was saying about bullying last week, I will fucking call you out, sunshine.
Just in case anyone is in any way slightly confused. He's talking about shitty wrestling promoters here. That wasn't aimed at me.
Yeah, and no, it wasn't.
I didn't think it was, so there's no animosity here. Just in case anyone was confused by that.
No. Don't get confused by that. I'm talking about these specific promoters. Hit the fucking road. Do one. The wrestling industry does not need you.
The wrestling industry can cope perfectly well. In fact, will probably be better off without you. Sod off. Leave it to people who actually care.
We actually have some decent wrestling promotions around. And unfortunately, the money marks are what are dragging this industry down, because they are dragging their talent down as well. And unfortunately, because they are the only companies that are in areas, the smaller areas like Stoke-on-Trent, like Birmingham, the smallest...
The regions around Birmingham, the regions around Manchester, the towns around Manchester,
Exactly. You've got all these promoters, and unfortunately, sometimes these particular wrestlers can only stay local. They can't travel, so they have to rely on the smaller promotions within the area to promote themselves, and they are being taken advantage of.
Yeah, I know. I've had it happen to me. I've had shocking treatment at the hands of a small promotion. I don't want to
pause you
names,
for a second. Can I pause you there for a second? Let me just point this out and just state on the flip side as well. I believe that my colleagues aren't actually ribbing all small promotions.
No. There are as many wonderful small promotions who get everything right, who bend over backwards for their talent, and who, as a result, deserve audiences 10 times bigger than they get. For every 10 of them, however, there's one bad egg that just pisses in the collective. What's the word I'm looking for? Pisses in the fountain for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. And
I was about to say you were quite well containing yourself with the language until the last bit.
Well, I felt that it was a strong enough situation that, it needed a small amount of expression at just exactly how much these shysters ruin it for the people who are genuinely trying to put on an entertaining product and give us value for our usually incredibly cheap tickets.
Yeah, and
for a night of entertainment.
And allow me just to say, there are such promotions that are run by Team Rocket. It's ridiculous.
For those that get that reference, well done. For those that don't, sorry, but we're not explaining it.
Yeah, they're run by Team Rocket, and they're destined to fail. And
essentially, yeah. You have to be very careful with the promotions as well, because sometimes the initial sheen of look at the shiny, ooh, isn't this lovely? It's a wrestling promotion, can distract you from what's rotting just beneath the surface. So basically, this is a morality lesson as well as a rant against the bad ones. You never know when they crop up, so always keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, exactly. So just keep your eyes peeled.
On top of that, we're not just aiming this at just, bookers and promoters and everything. This also goes for any talents, be it where, always remember, I think the message that we're trying to state is always remember where you come from. On top of that, always be respectful of any place, any location, anywhere. Basically, just be respectful of anywhere that you are able to perform your craft. And this also goes for any fans who try to overreach the mark, because
absolutely, this just goes not just promoters and bookers and talent, it's fans as well. Everyone can be guilty of it.
Anyone can be guilty of it. And I'm just going to put it here as, regardless of it, a promotion may start off in the worst place ever, but it will grow.
Oh, it can grow, and under the right circumstances, it will grow and prosper, and essentially, it can become everything that everyone wants it to be. But that doesn't always happen. Because
look at it this way:
lessons need to be learned.
I'm not saying that WWE is perfect right now, but also just think that where did WWE begin?
Well, exactly.
It used to be, if I'm not mistaken, there was even certain days before even when it was known as WWWF.
The Worldwide Wrestling Federation in Vincent K. McMahon's day.
Just stop. No, it doesn't matter if it was the WWF back then. It's still part of what the WWE is now.
Yeah,
so
correct.
For the pedantic people out there, stop. Just stop. It's part of the company. You are doing my head in. Get a grip.
Yeah, it's all the same company, which is now known worldwide as WWE. So referring to something that happened in 1979 as WWE is not wrong.
Exactly.
However, referring to anything that happened after May 2002 as WWF is wrong, because that isn't what the company was called then. You see, it goes both ways.
Spank you very much.
And also, if you're the kind of promoter that waits for a load of local talent who may not get any other bookings than that particular show in the month, because they're not what you'd call a full-time wrestler, they do it as a hobby around their full-time job to show up each month, and then when they've got there and they're in the changing room and you go, I've got nothing for you this week, bugger off, you're scum. I hate you. You don't deserve to succeed.
Yeah. So
that's also a nice little pot shot, possibly at WWE.
Indirectly, yes. I wasn't planning it to be, but I see what you did there, and I see what I did there. Yes, it is.
Oh, I see what you did there.
But anyway, let's drop the negativity right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, just one final thing.
Go for it.
All I will say is that we are now going to move on, because we do not want to waste our time, energy, or breath on these arseholes of the industry.
Absolutely. We've basically shone a light on the cockroach nest. We've said, we know you're there and we're not standing for it anymore, you wankers, but we don't want to give them any more airtime, so let's move on.
Yeah, and believe you me, I am not scared of any of you.
No, frankly, in the professional capacity, as my job as a commentator in the wrestling business, I have to watch where I tread. I can't be as forthright as Mr. Irvine is, but the point is, if it turns out that I do work for your promotion and you turn out to be one like that, I won't work for you again. It's that simple.
Yeah, I'm just not afraid. I'm not afraid of what I say or do, so...
I'm a broadcast journalist. I can say and do whatever I want.
Translation, what you're stating there is, you've got morals, you'll stick to them, and that's that.
Absolutely.
Done.
That's done, dusted.
Got it. Good.
Yeah, right. Let's
Might
move
need
on.
to put that... Whoa. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go back to that. May need to have that on a T-shirt, by the way, Irvine.
Yo, yes.
Oh, by the
Yeah,
way,
I've
I've
done
seen
t-shirts.
the T-shirt designs, and I'm frustrated that you two have about 6 each, and I seem to entirely be unrepresented. This will be changed when I've come up with designs in the coming weeks.
Of course.
Of course. We've actually been waiting for it. We have been waiting for it. But anyway, point being is, as I believe my colleague had stated, get it, got it, good.
Good. We're moving swiftly on to the next topic for this week's show, which
Let's
is...
flip the script.
Absolutely. Which is, oh my good lord, sorry, I just got distracted by the Sakir Grand Prix. Excuse me. I'm going to take a couple of deep breaths and let Mr. Matt Burns explain the next topic.
Yeah, basically, let's just take, we've just explained the dark side a little bit, promoters who don't work with, who don't work well with others. Let's flip the script and go with promotions that do want to work with others and work well and aim to work well with others. Now, a lot of people are going to be saying, have you brought this up because of a certain two mainstream companies that are doing it possibly? Of course we are. But at the same time, they haven't been the only one to do it.
Oh, far from it. No, they are currently the ones who are shining a spotlight on the idea, but they're by no means the first.
Exactly.
Because we want to cover the good, the bad, and the... Well, does that even really count? Because there's been all of it over time in the history of wrestling.
The funny thing about it is there can be hit moments, there can be missed moments, and the funny thing about it is, let's talk about the fact that, AEW has got a potential working relationship with Impact Wrestling.
Which is potentially great news, because AEW, as well as their TV ratings are doing, as good as their shows are, not really, I don't think, making the hoped-for inroads into WWE. Impact, we know, have been there, have tried, have hemorrhaged a hell of a lot of money and had to scale back. So the two of them working together, deciding that pooling resources is the best way to attack the company with, by far and away, the most resources,
is
an eminently sensible idea.
I'm going to agree with that statement.
I don't think they're actually even attacking WWE.
No, I don't think that their immediate aim is to do, as it was then, TNA, and go, we're going to go head-to-head with the Monday Night Raw. Raw, we're coming for you, WWE. I don't think that's their aim. I'm simply saying they want to be able to put out a viable alternative, and if working together makes that stronger, then for the benefit of all wrestling fans, great.
I am going to say that I disagree with what you said just about... it not being able to be on a level. I'm going to agree, but I'm also going to disagree, because I'm going to agree with the fact that, there's no way in a million years, well, no, actually that's wrong. There's no way in the next few years they'll be competing with Raw. That, Raw's pulling in millions of viewers worldwide. Whereas,
quite right.
Whereas Dynamite, bearing in mind it's only been going now, it's just over a year.
What is it? Just shy of 18 months?
Yeah, so we're looking at AEW Dynamite, and we've had a certain debut of one of the old guard,
Yeah,
an absolute legend, and wow, the ratings compared to previous weeks went through the roof, and so did
yeah.
T-shirt sales.
No
Yes,
kidding.
absolutely.
You know what?
Which
I'm
just it
so
just
glad.
goes to
I'm so glad you
show
mentioned that.
that. Oh, sorry. I will let you have your say, Matt Burns. I was simply going to interject
No.
briefly. Just goes to show that strategic and well placed use of the history of wrestling only elevates the present.
Exactly. And what I will say to you is, and everybody at home is, for WWE, that's going to sting a little bit.
I see
More
what you
than a
did there.
little. Yeah,
I see what you did there.
Aha.
we all see what he did there. It was
Aha, Trent, I see what you did there.
But anyway, point being is, yes, what I will say is, what was so good about that moment is the fact that, did anybody see it coming?
personally
Sort of, yeah.
no, but
No, but
Irvine may have done because he actually watches
What I'm saying
AEW.
to you is, did you see that happening as soon as it did?
It's been rumoured for the last few months that it was going to happen, but I thought it would have happened sooner, but from all the rumours that were going round, but I did not expect it when it happened.
Yeah.
I really didn't, and I was like, wow, actually, I'm amazed. Because a lot of people, like myself, Matt Burns, thought that he'd retired, that he'd been retired by...
A lot like myself thought that his WrestleMania moment, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago now, was his retirement, and shortly afterwards he had retired.
Yes. And now he's back. And it's like, I'm happy. I don't care how old he is. For me, he's timeless. You just can't replace him.
He's iconic, would you say?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I would say he was iconic. Just not the Australian version of iconic.
Icon X.
No.
No,
Nope.
because that's irritating, futile, and dead.
Yeah,
Thankfully.
and no longer exists now.
Dead, like I said.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Iconics. Dead. Sorry. I strangely turned into Pat McAfee there.
I'm about to say Pat McAfee, yeah, you know. Oh, but, which we'll move on. We'll need to go back.
We do.
The thing is, we'll go back to the original subject, which is the cross promotion. Can it actually work, or will it fold? Now, the funny thing about it is, this is something that I believe that the Young Bucks has been mentioning to Tony Khan for years.
The Young Bucks who apparently seem to have quite a head for doing this sort of thing, because it appears to be them, well, and the rest of the wrestlers who formed the nucleus of AEW whose idea it was, rather than, say, Tony Khan's. So, yeah, good on them.
And what's so scary about it is, a lot of people sit there and saying, but then, you know, they're splitting the viewers, they're going to be mixing and matching, you know, you're showing your competition. That's the negative side of it, saying you could lose fans to the other promotion if they're better, blah, blah, blah. That's the negative side. Here's where I'm going to flip the script again and say, here's the plus about it. Now, take into account that, me personally, I think the Impact Wrestling Women's Division have been quite interesting on their show lately. Just, for God's sake, drop the, who shot somebody wedding angle. Don't be bringing that.
No, just quietly let that die faster than Booker T's Room of Candles. Just let it go.
Pretty much. And that's the only time I will be saying that is actually quite fitting of timing.
Well, I finally found a way to shoehorn it in legitimately. I can retire it now. Thank fuck for that.
I'm going to say that I hope that it dies quicker than if Vince Russo was in the same room as Jim Cornette.
Let's just say they'd probably have to surgically remove the tennis racket.
Oh yes.
Oh
Moving
no,
swiftly
I
on.
don't think it'd be the tennis racket that'd be the problem. It'd be more or less of where Cornette's hands will be. It will be the problem. But anyway, let's just get back onto the subject. And here's the thing.
Wow.
With AEW have been having a bit of a struggle with the women's division. Impact haven't. Could they inject their women's division, have some of their women's division against AEW to basically bolster and strengthen it up?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could see that.
But then you've also got some of their top stars you've got from Impact. And a lot of people say they're saying, but you haven't got any top stars. Really? Eric Young, Eddie Edwards. Then you've also got Sami Callihan. We've even got, ex-WWE wrestler Ken Shamrock and everything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that Ken Shamrock was a top talent. I would say
I'm not saying he isn't a top talent, but I'm just saying...
The point is, they have plenty of viable talent on the roster, and anyone who's trying to claim AEW doesn't, trust me, from my view as an outsider who doesn't watch it, AEW have as many duds as they have stars, but trust me, they also have a good crop of stars, and between them, they have the in-ring capacity to make this union very interesting, potentially very profitable.
The one thing I will say that they've both been doing quite interestingly is the fact that they haven't just been... They've been focusing on more of their in-house talent at times, and focusing in on that. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be sitting there saying, "But Kenny Omega isn't he part of the corporation of AEW?" Yes, he is, but he's not one of the top leadership. And the fact is, by having him have the championship, it was time for Moxley to drop the title. Fine, but the thing is, by having it on Omega, you've now got that. They've managed to somehow connect the bridge and make it look more legitimately between two people, one person from Impact and one person from AEW in quite a clever booking way. And what I thought was so genius is how they even revealed it was he wins the championship, scarpers the hell out of the building with Tony Khan going, "What the hell's just gone on?" And Don Callis is leading the champ to the car, and you got someone who's interrupted. He says like, "I just want to catch your thoughts." It's like, "No, I ain't got time for this." You'll get out mine and the champ's thoughts on Tuesday. And the commentator had the wherewithal to sit there and say, "But hang on, Dynamite isn't on Tuesday; it's on Wednesdays."
Yes.
Immediately to be followed by Don Callis who goes, "No, check out on Tuesday's Impact Wrestling."
Yeah.
I have a feeling that it will soon be AEW Impact, as in like the WWE has their third.
You believe that AEW will subsume Impact and it will become their NXT? Is that what you're trying to imply?
I am not implying anything. I don't like speculation because it annoys me, but I will say that it's looking rather likely.
But here's the thing: if they're passing talents between and fro between each other, regardless, that's going to be an interesting refresh because both of them are going to be building each other up in such an amazing way. Like I said, they could also do the angle of AEW versus Impact Wrestling. That's another route they could go down. The question is what is going to be what is going to be where are the goalposts and where they're kicking it at?
Am I right in saying that you've got stars like Ken Shamrock? Okay, I don't rate him as a talent, but yeah, okay, he draws for some reason, whatever.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen Sting in the ring with Sting in the ring? Sting of
the Ring. It's a WWE pay-per-view in waiting. Well, no, it's an AEW pay-per-view now, quite clearly.
Checks payable.
To the burning truth.
Thank you very much. So anyway, have you ever seen Sting and Ken Shamrock in the same ring at the same time? I haven't. I don't recall it.
This is what I'm on about. It brings up a lot of dream scenarios, and AEW with their. I know a lot of people can sit there and say, but Sting's a part of the old guard. The one thing I will say that AEW have been doing, as much as you can turn around and say the old guard, what's so interesting is they've been paying massive respect to the old guard. They haven't been wrestling on it like Ken Shamrock and as such, but they've been still highlighted in such a good way, even if it's in a manager role. It's been done really tasteful.
I will say one thing though about things like with Ken Shamrock being on Impact. I mean, he's obviously a big enough draw for The Rock to actually congratulate him. Live on Impact Wrestling. So I've got respect for him, but I just don't rate him as a talent. That's all my opinion is on Ken Shamrock. But I'm just saying, you've got RVD, wrestlers like that have not really had any interaction with wrestlers in AEW, and now we have this opportunity that's coming up. I'm invested. I just seriously hope that Impact don't screw it up for AEW.
I don't think that's going to happen, to be brutally honest. I think that before this whole, before this whole union was announced, I'm fairly sure that Tony Khan and I don't even know who runs Impact anymore. Is it Billy Corgan? No, it's
Anthem.
not him. He had the argument with them, and they.
Anthem.
No, but I don't know who the figurehead is, who their Tony Khan is.
It's
anyway, the point being, I think they
Anthem.
will have sat down and thrashed this out before they started and decided on a course which they think, only time will tell if the fans will buy it, is mutually beneficial for both sides. And I hope it works. I really do.
I just hope the AEW creative freedom has more of a say in the situation than the Impact side have, because
I hope that AEW is recognised as the senior partner in the arrangement purely because of the fact that in 18 months of existence they've got a bigger reach than Impact have achieved in 18 years. But and I just hope it works for both of them.
If you want the CEO of Impact Wrestling, it's Jason Brown.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure, but I'm glad you fact-checked me because it was something that needed to be found out. And now I know that.
Did you not hear him typing on the old interwebs?
Yes,
the actual founder of Anthem Media Group would be Leonard Asper.
Cool. No, that name I did know, but I didn't know if he had anything to do with the day-to-day running of Impact, so I wasn't going to mention him just in case.
Either way, but the point being is that is the parent company, but the CEO of Impact Wrestling is Jason Brown.
Cool. Right, lovely. Well, let's just hope it works, because I would much rather it went well and a legitimate alternative to WWE appeared, which wasn't one that they also own and produce. Because, don't get me wrong, I am NXT's number one fan. I'll watch NXT 8 days a week over main roster WWE. It's a viable alternative. It's one that I much prefer. But actual legitimate challenges from outside Stamford, yes, please.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the funny thing about it is this can actually really, really work for both sides. And fingers crossed, it does actually work.
It does, yeah. Fingers crossed it does from here as well.
Yeah, just no more burials, though, eh? No more burials of top stars.
No.
Fair enough. But anyway, let's. I think that's about a good enough time for us to move on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but let's just hop over
because we are bombing through the topics nice and quick. We've covered the ground. We haven't used enough strong language, I don't think, but maybe that's a blessing. I think we've said as much as we need to. Yeah, so let's swing on to the next topic. Yeah,
pretty much. The only thing about it is, I'm going to have to just cover two things, additional topics. And I know this is possibly, current wrestling, but it's actually a positive on WWE side.
There's
They are few and far between and rare, so yes, let's please hear it.
In case I know that we don't normally always state, we don't cover SmackDown recently as much and everything. What I found so genius and everything because of spoilers, but if you watch wrestling, if you're a big massive WWE fan, you'll most likely know the results by now after 2 days. And if you do not want to be have anything spoiled for you, we apologise in advance.
I see. Warning, 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 spoiler alert imminent, warning, warning.
I will say this to you, though. It is interesting of Baron Corbin lately.
Oh, no, you just triggered him.
Wait.
Triggered me?
No. Baron Corbin and his, I believe that Wrestle Talk dubbing as Baron Corbin's Mid-Card of Evil, I've actually brought in 2 people to be linked to Baron Corbin that might be better suited as the role at the moment right now.
Better suited to the role of Baron Corbin than Baron Corbin. God, that's ironic, but I love it.
No, not to Baron Corbin. What I'm saying to you is, all I'll just say is, does anybody remember the Forgotten Sons?
It's not how you spell Jackson. Riker.
No,
yes.
no. But the
God, is that another one of my attempts at creating an internet meme I'm going to have to lay to rest because he's not part of them anymore?
Definitely isn't. Because the best thing about it is, in regards to this, the Forgotten Sons, if I'm not mistaken,
Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler.
Yeah. Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake have actually come back as part of Baron Corbin's Mid-Card of Evil. And I believe they were involved in the segment with So it was interesting to see Murphy being face-to-face across with Wesley Blake.
Yes, it actually is, because, as we all know, before he decided to become the world's only ginger Mexican, he was in NXT and was one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions with his nemesis.
Yeah, now, the funny thing about it is, there wasn't much of a mention of the Forgotten Sons as themselves, but Riker was nowhere to be found. More importantly, most likely is, from rumour has it that he could be most likely be getting released soon.
Well, not that I wish ill on anyone, but good, because he didn't really bring much to the team, and I don't mean to be horrible to the gimmick, but the Forgotten Sons gimmick in general was a bad gimmick, very poorly executed, and if they can move away from it, good for their careers.
They're looking more like Hide for Guns at the moment now.
Are we talking they are looking a bit more like, shall we say, the 2 whose names I can never remember, but I know one of them used to be DJZ in TNA, who are part of Legado del Boring, or like Lorcan and Birch are for whatever Pat McAfee's group are called.
They haven't got a name.
The group, I know, but they're that kind of thing. They're the sort of hired guns that get the dirty work done. Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm going to more or less say possibly like almost a bit of a heel version of APA. I got the vibe of.
Okay.
A heel version of APA. They are high. They are high to pretty much take care of business.
I'm not.
Right.
But, I've stayed quiet on this one, but I'm not going to. Did we not have this not long ago? They have actually left.
Yeah, isn't one of those people who was involved in that rather spectacular group now AEW World Heavyweight Champion? And another one is now WWE Champion, and the third one can go fuck himself for all I care, because what he brings to the table anymore, I don't think even he knows.
He's going to be a dad.
Yeah, you can tell. His mind's on that. He's not thinking about what he's doing in the business anymore.
But it's...
Is that what you were referring to, Monsieur Le Irvine?
Yeah, I'm referring to the Authors of Pain. They brought loads to the table. They were mysteries.
So no is the answer. We were not thinking on the same lines. Okay,
Yeah, so we're not thinking on the same lines, JB.
fair enough.
I wouldn't have said.
I also thought of the Authors of Pain, but since they also got shat on from a great height,
I was more so thinking of the Authors of Pain.
Yeah, but since they got the world handed to them on a plate in NXT and then shat on from a great height on the main roster, I hope the former Forgotten Sons don't follow the same career trajectory.
Hopefully it doesn't happen. But anyway, let's hop over now quickly to NXT. I've just got to mention one thing on it. A former WWE superstar has given props to 2 NXT superstars.
Well, bloody hell. Is this a former WWE superstar who is currently, how can I put this in no uncertain terms? With WWE management, as in they still like him, or is this former as in, we don't mention him on WWE television, we pretend he doesn't exist type?
Pretty much don't pretend he doesn't exist. But the problem is the 2 people who he's pointing out at, one's a part-timer, but the other one is a top talent on the NXT female roster.
Okay, so first of all, if we can unpick this enigma wrapped in a mystery, who is the person giving the praise?
CM Punk.
Dun, dun, dun.
Fair enough.
And he turns round.
Who is he praising?
But at the same time also dissing some of the NXT male wrestlers. He turns around and he goes and he literally states, one of the best people on NXT currently is Pat McAfee, especially with his promo work that he's been cutting. The man can cut such an astounding, scathing promo. He's not even a full-time wrestler. He's a part-timer, and yet not even the full-timers can't even step up to his level.
Full-time roster promo skills. Dead.
Pretty much just turns around and just goes, you should be ashamed of yourselves when somebody who wasn't even actually meant to be part of the wrestling business is actually outschooling you in your profession.
Quite right too, Mr. Punk.
With the exception of Rhea Ripley. Basically saying that Rhea Ripley is stepping up again.
Rhea Ripley has stepped up again. Jesus wept. Did you see... Hang on, you've seen the Go Home NXT before tonight's takeover, haven't you? I haven't yet, but did you see the one before?
Yes.
Whew. Oh, by the way, just as an aside to that, William Regal, comedy genius. Can't be overstated enough. Player.
Damn right. Especially, I even like... The one thing I will say is, once a year we get it, and I love how he announces the certain event that we've already done predictions for, and that is on the Burning Truth website, by the way.
Along with this week's weekly blog, for those that want a bit more content outside of the broadcast.
Of course, just make sure not to try to steal anything or put it on your own website. But
can you hear that? That's the plug that I've just dropped.
Very, very flattered. I was wondering what all the cuss was about, but I'm very flattered.
Oh, somebody been taking our ideas, have they, swines?
No. We'll just leave it there. But
let's just leave it there.
The point being is it's just... I love the fact of when you've got William Regal makes his announcements for War Games. I just love how he just leans in and it's like, I see a pattern here.
There's 4 of you. There's 4 of you. I think we know where this is going.
War Games!
Genius. Yeah.
He's got that down to a T. And what even more better is this year you got Undisputed Era saying, please say it.
Yeah. I absolutely loved a couple of the bits from the 2 weeks from War Games itself, NXT as well. That one where he's just announcing the North American title match. Also, Can I just state, when his career in ring is over, Kevin Owens, WWE commentator, shoo-in. That guy's a legend.
Yeah.
When he's announcing that, player. And when he's backstage with Cameron Grimes.
Oh, genius.
Just genius.
Just genius. What is wrong with you?
Cameron Grimes, why do you hate me, Mr. Regal? William Regal, deadpan as he's walking off camera. Well, I think that's got a lot to do with your personality, Cameron. And then tapped him on the shoulder as he's leaving. Exit stage left.
William Regal, comedy genius.
As I said, yes, quite right.
And also great rapper as well.
Oh yeah.
With his British grime. But anyway, let's now switch it, because Regal is a good way to switch it over to the next proper main subject, which is
NXT UK.
Pretty much. Good segue there. And JB.
Within it, something which has been a big feature of NXT UK since its relaunch post-coronavirus, which has massively disappointed me. And I will just state, potential warning, soapbox will be activated, and so potentially may be very strong language. Because I would like to rant about how disappointed I am, nearly swore there, don't want to swear that early, peak too soon, no, about the colossal, nearly as boring as Legado del Boring Heritage Cup tournament. The idea is sound. The people they put in the Heritage Cup tournament, the cream of British talent. So, how did it end up so mind-numbingly tedious? Oh, well, and European talent. Yeah, so how did that recipe bake a cake so bland that I found myself skipping through the matches?
Well, can I just ask you just a little question?
Please do.
Was it just as tedious as watching a smaller promotion put on a show and having a match in it where a male and female wrestler had to have a match to determine who won her cat?
I'm sorry, did I hear you right? Who won custody of her small, furry, purring creature, cat?
Yes.
It was as bad as that put into a mixing bowl with the Japanese shampoo commercial match and Blitz to Oblivion. Seriously.
I think
modern
just exploded.
Yeah, modern American professional wrestling matches scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
Yeah, I was waiting for someone to do that. I give you the line. Come on, you've got to score the open goal. Are scripted as such to be exciting because they ebb and they flow and they keep going. And there's a very good reason why they superseded British round style matches as the go-to thing for Worldwide Wrestling. It's because stopping every 2 minutes kills any momentum, and as a result, 2 out of 3 falls rounds matches are effing boring.
I agree with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I've had a discussion with GPW Kev about this, and he agrees, and I think there was a UK promotion that briefly did it when they brought back rounds matches, and 5 3-minute rounds with 1 fall or DQ to a finish works infinitely better. I think it is an unlikely combination of the lightning in a bottle of the stop-start of the rounds mixed with the 2 out of 3 falls stipulation that is just makes everything bad about wrestling, and what has led to an incredibly lackluster tournament. Can't fault A-Kid for taking advantage and becoming the inaugural champion, spoiler alert, but overall entirely forgettable, and I blame the format.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe that Mr. Irvine agrees with me and Mr. Matt Burns does not. So, Mr. Matt Burns, please give the counter argument.
Yes,
I'm sorry. I see what you did there. But anyway, point being is, the reason why I don't agree with you, now, I will say, with me being a promoter myself, I've always preferred the American style over, at the moment now for me, but at the same time, I'm not going to disrespect the British style because of the heritage and the class of the funny thing about it is, when done right, it can be absolutely marvellous gold.
Just pause there before you carry on. Sorry, I have no disrespect whatsoever for the heritage of the British round system. I just think that wrestling has moved on, and the current style that world wrestling has evolved in has moved away from the need for those rounds. I don't disrespect the history of it, I don't disrespect that the classic matches of the past still hold up, but I just found the Heritage Cup really fucking tedious.
Here's the thing. You can probably say that that might be the case for the Heritage Cup. Give it time, because it's NXT UK. It's an American company trying something different at the moment. It's early doors. So in my case of give it time, they'll most likely figure the kinks out. Give it time. It's something new for NXT, WWE, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it. The point being is, for me, I'll never forget some of the great storytelling from some of the British rounds where from World of Sport, where a certain villainous wrestler used the in-between bits to include a vicious cheap shot onto his opponent, almost bending the rules a little bit.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. If done properly, I'm sure that it can work well, and we may grudgingly come to accept it. But my issue is the best writers in the world and the best talent that the British scene has to currently offer, and that's the dross they came up with. It doesn't bode well.
It may not bode well at the moment, but take into account you can have all the best teams in the world. Doesn't mean Rome wasn't built. You can have all the best builders in the world. Rome wasn't built in a damn day.
I understand that. I do. And I can only hope it improves over time. Yeah. But I'm simply saying I wasn't impressed with the start.
No, far from it. And here's the thing. I think the fact that they are trying something unique for the UK, for the NXT UK, is actually a good thing for NXT UK, because they're actually trying to showcase another alternative than just, we're doing American style. It's actually showing a bit of an alternative and also paying homage to the British wrestling style. That's just my take on it.
No, that's fair enough. As I said, my take is I think it's overkill. It should either be rounds or 2 out of 3 falls. I think both is proving to be too much, but we shall see. What's next, though? Are both the Cruiserweight titles going to be made to operate for 2 out of 3 falls Mexican lucha style?
No. That's just I'm just saying that's just for the Heritage Cup at the moment.
I just think it's gimmick for gimmick's sake, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, I just think it makes sense.
Don't make sense. Just don't make sense.
Where's my monster?
Doesn't make sense. Where's my monster? Anyway, point being is, it's a different thing, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Well, hang on. I have worked out that we've been on air quite a while this week, and we haven't said this yet, so I think it's long overdue. If you agree or disagree politely and want to get in touch, the Burning Truth social media is open, so please do.
Yeah, pretty much, and we've also got a contact page on the website as well. If you want to get in touch with us through there, because we've had some input from there before.
Absolutely, well. Yeah.
And
like I say, you think that it needs time to grow, and it's a good idea that they're trying different things, which is an opinion that I disagree with, but I can completely respect. Whereas I think that, like I said, given the talent involved, it's a colossal letdown. But on the plus side, moving forward, it can only get better.
That's what I'm saying. At least they're trying different things, and they're not just trying to say we're sticking to what works. It shows that they are actually trying new things to keep things fresh.
Can only get better. Oh, sorry.
Moving swiftly on. Anyway. Also, speaking of trying new ideas, I have an idea that I'd like to put out there that I think should become a staple of NXT's January takeover.
Go for it.
Seeing as it's the night before the Royal Rumble, how about they have a 15-person Gold Rush style mini Rumble match on NXT, the winner of which earns a place in the main Rumble the next night.
That could work.
Which gives one person on the NXT roster the 1 in 30 chance to get a WrestleMania moment and creates a bit of extra jeopardy. I think that would be a good extension to the idea of the Royal Rumble. Of course, they'd have to have two, one for the men, one for the women, because we're all about equality these days. But I think that could become a tradition. And I would like to say, if you implement this, Mr. McMahon, all checks made payable to the Burning Truth, please.
Just with the one thing I will say to Vince McMahon is just please, with the female talent, don't make them strip off and bark like a dog.
I think that's in the past. I don't think there's any danger. Just here's a proposal for you. Vince McMahon is north of 70. Do you think he'd survive if he even tried to ask Rhea Ripley to do that?
I'm hoping not.
Yeah, exactly. I think those days are happily long behind us.
I actually saw Vince this morning. I was watching He-Man. Yeah, He-Man. Take a load off, He-Man.
Where does he come up with this?
I think from the same deep dark cavern that I came up with all the stuff that I used to say before he came on board as a presenter. I'm going to need to come up with some new ones now. I've got to retire the Riker one. I'm officially retiring Room of Candles since no one wants to hire it from me. So it's a loss maker. So it's going to be closing down due to mismanagement.
Forget it. I might even just hire it myself. Do
you want to run UKWA shows from it? It's a big venue. Coronavirus safe as well. Everyone can be socially distant. It's fucking huge in there.
Yeah, you've all got binoculars, for God's sake.
What would this show be without its surreal moments?
That's just...
And anyway, I think that's covered my distaste with the Heritage Cup. Hopefully it can improve. It can't get any worse. But if you guys don't have anything to add, bloody hell, we're rattling through the topics. I think it's time to move on to the non-wrestling corner.
Before we get to there, can I start off with my subject first?
Oh, in non-wrestling corner, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just going to point out to everybody, I know we've been promising each week, we mentioned TBT games, and that we're going to be doing some game streaming soon. Unfortunately, due to busy schedules and due to certain graphical issues that we've been experiencing, it most likely won't be this year that we actually start it off. It most likely be in the early 2021.
Early years of 2021, yes.
Yeah.
The early months.
In the new year.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough.
In the new year.
We want to make sure we iron out the technical bugs, and when you two actually do it, that it's flawless. So that's perfectly understandable. Pretty much.
And I will just say this. I am still scared for my life because I know which game I've got to do first. And it's still haunting me.
Tee-hee. Sorry, but no sympathy here.
What makes it worse is it's the fact I feel as though it's getting, it's actually worse the fact that I'm having to prolong it because I want to get on.
The dread is climbing with every week that you don't do it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Lovely.
Pretty much. And in case
you know, in aisle Matt Burns' trousers.
Pretty much. If anybody hasn't figured out what game series I'm actually going to be attempting on, first round, it's the Five Nights at Freddy's.
And that's why
so much rather you than me
owns more brown pants than he does any other colour.
Matt Burns has a whole wardrobe full of brown pants that he bought secondhand on the cheap from, I believe, Mankind.
All I'm just going to say,
get round to it, we are actually going to be calling Matt Burns Butt Burns.
all I'm just going to say is I got the idea from Deadpool.
Oh, lad, your ass is going to be twitching like a rabbit's nose.
But anyway.
I didn't know Deadpool was from Bangalore.
No, it wasn't.
What was that accent?
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't know what accent it was. No comment. Let's move on. Let's quickly move on.
Moving swiftly on, I would just like, of course, because I like Formula One, so I watch it a lot. Due to the late nature of the Sakir Grand Prix, which was run in Bahrain, same as last week, but on the outer loop of the track, it didn't start until 5:10. So we're on air. We started at 6. I only got to see the first 25 laps. But I've been keeping up with it while we've been on air, and I don't want to give spoilers away, apart from one. First time winner, folks.
Yeah.
Epic race, first time winner, and, well, needless to say, I'm going to be watching it to fill at least part of the gap when I'm not eating my dinner between now and War Games. So I'm going to find out who that first time winner was. Well, I'm not going to find out. I know. I'm going to watch them win for the first time because I've only heard about it so far. But I can't recommend highly enough, based on the Twitter I've been following of the race as it's been going on, that you watch it because excitement, drama, triumph, heartbreak, first time winner. Why would you not love that?
Take this into account. I knew who the winner was as well.
Bloody hell.
I don't. Shut up.
Can you mute the mic so that I can tell him who the winner is and it doesn't go out on air, but he can hear me?
Oh, I could do that if I wanted to, but no, we're not going to.
No, okay, don't worry. We'll either Google it or wait till we're off air and I'll tell you. But needless to say, you really, really, really need to watch the race. So,
definitely.
Yeah. It was an awesome advertisement for the sport of Formula One. Just like, to see back into the topics in question that the podcast is about, before we talk about our epic moment, War Games tonight is going to be an epic advert for everything that is great about professional wrestling.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I don't want to curse it. I hope I just haven't, touch wood, but NXT TakeOver War Game, well, this is the fourth. They haven't.
You know what? I'm really sorry to say this. He just cursed it, hasn't he?
It's official. This is going to be the worst takeover ever. It's going to be a dud from start to finish. It's going to be nearly
I'm just going to throw a prediction.
Versus DX from Dubai a couple of years ago.
Oh, no. I'm about to set JB off.
Uh-oh.
Beg your pardon.
I'm sat down, so it can't get much worse.
Wait. I'm about to upset JB to get for him to almost cue the soapbox. But I'll have to remove that soapbox quickly. Rumour has it that there's even been talks of someone coming back to NXT soon, and it could be tonight.
Ooh.
I am going to have a good guess at this one.
Someone coming back to NXT. Is this from the wrestling wilderness of outside WWE or from the wrestling wilderness of the WWE main roster?
This is from injury.
Please, let me.
Bearing in mind that there is a champion on NXT that isn't actually on the event. But
no.
Irvine, would you kindly?
Oh no.
Ah, dear. Would it be a female wrestler?
No.
Oh, actually, I'm wrong then. Okay.
Oh, no. You had better not, Mr. Burns, be referring to the shortest reigning NXT champion in history and walking fucking put you to sleep machine, Carrion Toss.
Rumour has it.
Well, that's just taken a large greasy turd from a great height on War Games.
Do you remember when you just said this is going to be the best NXT takeover ever?
Yeah, I said that before pretty much all of them because unfathomably, unbelievably, they usually always manage to top the previous one.
Well,
but if that's walking snoozer-thons on it, it's going to struggle.
I do believe that you have just taken a gigantic diarrhea dribble down into your sock, young man.
If that god-awful bald bell end is going to interfere on the show, it will be -5 stars from me.
Oh, God, NXT is going to be so much fun for you.
What makes it even more funny is the fact that The rumour supposedly comes from a statement from Triple H himself.
Do you know what the best part about it was? He won the NXT Championship. I prepared to start watching AEW. He crippled himself. I carried on watching NXT. It was great. And now I'm going to have to seriously consider watching AEW Explosion again.
Dynamite.
In your pants.
Actually, it could actually become Explosion, seen as...
I've been mocking it for months, calling it AEW Explosion, because that's the name of the TNAB show, and they could start... Explosion could start featuring lower mid-card AEW wrestlers fairly shortly.
Possibly with Impact. Mixing
Sorry?
with Impact. If you remember, Impact also had an alternative show, so it could actually
called
become...
Explosion. That's why I used to call it that.
It could actually happen.
Yeah, it really could. That's hilarious. And that has somewhat tempered the bad news that stupid crap gimmick.
Wait.
Fall asleep.
Let me just take this quickly.
That's what his entrance music says.
Let me just take this. All checks payable to the Burning Truth.
You're welcome.
But
Somebody needs to make a redub of his god-awful entrance music where she's actually singing Fall Asleep, because that's what everyone does when he comes on the screen.
And before we get to the epic wrestling moments, and we'll have to pretty much get up to it quick, did anybody pick up on SmackDown this week that Big E's got new music?
Well, as in, he's finally got non-New Day music.
Yes.
As the divorce has been made final.
And he's also got the chalk back.
Got the what?
He's brought the chalk back from when he was at NXT.
All right. So finally, after a 7-year hiatus and 10 world tag team title reigns, he's getting the singles push that he thought he would get as soon as he left NXT as a former NXT champion.
Possibly.
Potentially interesting. Because Big E is another one who, in the past, I have been found guilty of boring me slowly to death. He's entertaining as hell in the New Day, but in his previous singles run in WWE, I just, the inspiration just wasn't there. So hopefully it's different this time.
Pretty much. But anyway, we are going to have to move on.
Okay.
And pretty much now just cover the epic wrestling moment.
Which I believe is a leftover from last week, because we didn't get time to fit it in then either. So let's actually do it justice and get
All
to it.
I'll just say to you is,
damn you, cartoons.
We had a great discussion about cartoons. It just meant that we couldn't mention this. So, what is it for those who have short memories like me and can't remember as far back as a week?
Oh, brother.
In case if anybody didn't realise, that was a bad impersonation of Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior.
I didn't honestly think that it was anything else, but okay, fair point.
Yeah. This would be, and we're not on about the WCW one, the first match they had against each other at WrestleMania 6.
You mean the one that famously spawned the Jim Cornette rant promo about they were both sucking air so bad 5 minutes in, the first 3 rows passed out from oxygen deprivation?
Yes, and also it was a match that the gobbledygooker would be ashamed to be affiliated with, because somebody got some gobbles in there.
Is that the one-time WWE 24/7 champion, the gobbledygulak?
No. We are talking about, let's just say this. Photographers at the time probably didn't realise, all I'll just say to you is, WWE photographers back in them days needed to learn
It was a more innocent time. It was a more innocent time, hashtag blowjob corner.
Angles!
Oh, brother!
Well, all I can say is the Ultimate Warrior found out firsthand if what the Iron Sheik alleges Hulk Hogan is accurate or not.
All I'm going to say is hashtag speaking out. It was more than just a test of strength. It was a test of depth.
No comments.
On that slightly vomit-speckled bombshell, can we just get back to the topic in hand, please?
I can assure you that he must have gagged a few times.
Well, like I said, not if the Iron Sheik's accusation with regards to Hulk Hogan is accurate. No.
Maybe that's why he kept snarling, because he couldn't speak.
But let's move away from the
Yeah.
potentially libelous content and just talk about the match.
The match itself was was entertaining, and was a legendary moment in the fact that you got your Intercontinental Champion and the WWE Champion against each other. I believe it was the first time they'd ever done it.
I believe so at the time, yes.
And what was so interesting is how they handled it after, with a victor coming out, which was the Ultimate Warrior, which was the fact that they pretty much had Ultimate Warrior vacate the championship, to then just from that was a unique, interesting way of doing it, because
Well, because at the time, the WWF rules were they only had 3 championships and no one man could hold more than one at any one time.
Stop it.
Okay, we're going to have to pause briefly here and ask Irvine exactly what has caused him
I
to
believe
solve
I've just
like
figured
a
out.
girl's blouse.
It was a unique way of doing it. It really was. It really was.
Anyway, the one downside I had to this match is the finish.
Woo!
That's
I'm
your
not saying-
downside after everything we've just said in the last 5 minutes? That's your downside?
No, I mean just for the innocent ones.
Oh, right.
Oh, there was a few downsides on that one, all right.
I'm just saying for the innocent ones, where you got the big splash happen, and Ultimate Warrior goes for the pin. It should have been a clean victory, but Hogan had to kick out after the 3.
Well,
Really?
at 2.5, really.
No, kicked out at 3.2.
Oh, right.
Oh my God. Oh, this is easier than a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
You ought to know. Anyway, let's continue. What?
Dude. Okay, fair enough.
Right, okay. Before this whole broadcast just dissolves into basically knob gags and low-level abuse aimed at each other by the 3 hosts, can we get back to the topic of the wrestling for just a
pretty
second,
much.
please?
Pretty much.
So we got to the big splash.
Yeah,
Done,
Hogan,
it's
of
done.
course.
We got to the big splash. The pin. Go on, carry on.
Carry on, because I don't think
One,
is capable.
2, 3, kick out, brother.
Too late, the bell's rung. You can kick out as often as you want. Doesn't matter, you've lost.
No, but the fact of, for me, he still had to attempt to kick out to say, I still got energy, a finish is meant to be a finisher.
No, I agree. It was a dickish thing to do, but then when it comes to, well, anything to do with Hogan at that period, you could argue that it was a quite dickish thing that he usually did.
Now, the thing about it is, this was meant to be an iconic moment, this was meant to be Ultimate Warrior's big run, and how far did that go? Oh, right, they had to bring Hogan back.
Yeah, because, well, Hogan can't bear to not be the centre of attention for more than 5 minutes at a time, can he?
And there was also the fact that Ultimate Warrior also had his issues with management, because he kept holding him for ransom.
He kept going, give me more money. And unfortunately, because he held the main title in the company, they had to do the thing that they, in ideal circumstances, would never do and say, okay, how much do you want? But there was only so much they were ever going to put up with that.
Which ended up happening. But anyway, I believe...
Irrespective of all the shenanigans afterwards and all the things that we've mentioned already, that us seeing it now, noticed post-match or during the match that weren't noticed at the time, the match itself was great, and it's an epic wrestling moment for that reason. So let's focus on that.
I believe that my reaction to that match was, sweet Jesus, young man.
I can't understand why he's there for a match between 2 consenting, fully grown adults. But okay, I didn't think that was his bag. But whatever.
About the guys.
No. Let's just. I'm just going to say it is an iconic moment, but it did actually also produce some absolute hilarious
Well, yes,
internet
in the
images.
decades since, we've got quite a lot of entertainment out of it in this broadcast. What is it, 35 years later, 30 years later? So yeah, it was iconic for the right and the wrong reasons.
I
The thing is,
for Hulk Hogan's knob because it looked rather vicious.
And on that bombshell, that's the epic wrestling moment covered. Burns, do the plugs. Quick, change routine.
Pretty much. All I'm just going to say is next week's topic, if we don't cover it, most likely going to be NXT TakeOver War Games 22 Fallout, which will be bringing back
the
time machine. Yes, the time machine for the time limit of our thoughts on the event, like we did for Survivor Series.
Yeah, no, it just sounded like you said War Games 22, and I was
2020.
Okay, I was just clarifying. Anyway,
no, 2020. But anyway, the point being is we're going to be doing the Fallout episode next week. And
yes, we
with that, let's get on to the plugs. We recommend you check out UKWA, also known as UK Wrestling Alliance. Yes, I know it's a cheap self plug. What are you going to do? Sue me? I've got to do it.
Note from our legal team: please don't sue us.
Fair enough. Okay, and all I'll say is please check out photographers like Tony Knox, Jessica Silver Photography, and Kerry Swift Photography on all social media. For videography, we also recommend you check out BA Productions and SW Video. Absolutely amazing work. We also recommend you check out charitable organisations like Changes for Health and Wellbeing, Changes Recovery Radio, Mind, Messy for Mind, Donna Louise Hospice Care for Children and Young People, and Cancer Research UK. The information that they provide could prove massively useful and could end up proving, a bit of a difference maker. We of course also recommend you check out the lighter side of professional wrestling, be it either Botchamania, you're welcome Matthew, Wrestle Crap,
nice one, R.D. Reynolds,
and of course OSW Review. And the OSW Review lads, especially with What Bar Is It? And in case if anybody wants to know what OSW stands for, Old School Wrestling Reviews. Just for those who have asked me. But anyway, we of course also recommend you to check out fellow broadcasters, podcasters, and everything in between. Be it either Pull or Pass Radio Show, host, and many of the other shows hosted by Magic Mark Adams. We the Independent, that's with an I-E and not a Y. They have massive interviews on there. Think Wrestling BT, the Talking Wrestling interviews, hosted by none other than Mr. Tom Baker, and we're not talking about the former Doctor. We of course also recommend you check out Train Pop Culture, as they've always got interesting topics to cover each week. We of course also recommend you to check out Hatred Theory. If I'm not mistaken, they are coming back and probably doing some live streaming on Twitch soon, so recommend you check that out. We of course also recommend you check out Kayfabe Music, as they do absolutely amazing custom made music. We know this because they even do album music for The Burning Truth. We of course also recommend you check out Powered 4 TV, be it as it's got always building up wrestling content constantly all the time, be it either from podcast, broadcast and everything, wrestling content either from the UK and now possibly some coming from America. We of course also recommend you check out, local wrestling promotions, be it either SCW, United Wrestling, Pro Wrestling for You, Future Shock Wrestling,
Wolf Run Pro Wrestling, Academy Pro Wrestling, Falling Star Wrestling, etc., etc.
Venom Wrestling, Venom, and many others. And all I'm going to say is, in case if I missed any off, I do apologise in advance. But there's an app just in case if you think I've missed any, be it on Babyface Wrestling app, which is for the low price of how much, JB?
Now,
free. In case you're wondering, that is translation to nothing.
Nothing. Zero. Nada. Zilch. Buck she. Fuck all.
Get it? Got it?
Good.
Needs to be on a t-shirt. But anyway, pretty much. And of course, we also recommend the Burning Truth website, which is www.theburningtruthuk.com, where yes, we have our weekly blog and also predictions up on there. We've also got the merchandise section if anybody's interested.
Yeah.
I like where this is going.
If you want to, basically support the Burning Truth, check out the merchandise section and have a quick gander, especially at this time, because it'd be an amazing Christmas present potentially
To yourself or loved
Absolutely. To yourself or a loved one.
I love it.
Though we joke about it whenever we give WWE booking ideas, we mean it this time when we say all checks are payable to the Burning Truth. So thank you for supporting your favourite wrestling broadcast.
Of course. And let's just state that all external links on the links page we cannot be held responsible for because we do not have control of them. So please, if there is anything offensive, make us aware of it, and we'll see if
If necessary, we will remove the link.
Potentially. But just make us aware that just to make you aware, we cannot be held responsible for the external links. But anyway, you can catch us on our social media, be it either Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and everything else, and hopefully in future, on Twitch and whatever gaming, streaming, game streaming service that we do provide in the new year potentially. But you can actually catch old episode and most likely and any of the live ones on Spreaker. If you want to listen to any past episodes, you can listen to us on the website, Spreaker, Spotify,
iTunes, Deezer, Google Music, Google Podcasts,
Google.
And of course,
I
Amazon
said
Music.
that to try and stop you doing that, but it didn't work.
No, never.
I appreciate JB for having me avoid trying to sound like Granville. Granville.
Yeah, we try our best, but apparently once he's got the bee in his bonnet, the Irvine cannot be stopped.
I'll just go through it again.
Past your toilet time yet?
Wait, I'll just go through it again. Spreaker, the website, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Deezer, Amazon Music, and many other sources.
I shall bring up that in more times than Charlotte Flair brings up her heritage.
Or the fact that she keeps winning women's championships.
Part of her heritage.
But anyway, that's going to be a wrap up for the plugs. Let's move on to our usual mental health message, which is, if you are having a bit of a bad time and not coping really well, just know that it is okay to be not okay, and asking for help isn't a weakness. You can end up finding out that, there's more, that people care for you a lot more than you could ever know, be it either family members, friends, or even complete strangers could even surprise you.
Indeed.
And of course, to quote Tom Campbell from Cultaholic, never compare your behind the scenes to other people's greatest hits. And some other quotes to add on: make yourself a priority once in a while. It's not selfish, it's necessary. And the final quote to take from us as usual, which is, if you could be anything at this time right now, anything, and I mean anything, please
remember that rule 1 of Progress Wrestling is don't be a dick.
I was aiming to get that as the last one. I was just saying, be more kind, and as my colleague was stating, last rule, the number 1 rule of Progress Wrestling is, and most likely probably interjected into the Burning Truth, is don't be a dick.
Wad.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we don't get sued.
Progress for a reason. It's a good motto to live your life by. Be kind and don't be a dick.
Or a smackhead.
Or a small off-duty Czechoslovakian traffic warden. Unless that's what you happen to actually be.
Okay.
Okay, moving.
That was a Red Dwarf reference, which clearly went over both of your heads. Never mind.
No, I got it.
It really did. It went over my head.
I got it, but I just thought to myself, where's the context in this? But anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, the point being is, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the Burning Truth for this week. I would like to say thank you all to for listening again. From time to time, we hope you recommend you give a bit of a quick check out your local wrestling promotion through their social media, and also reach out to a friend, family, or colleague during these times. That small bit of contact could end up helping out in such marvelous ways. You never know. And with all that, I'm going to state the following, which is, please, all of you, stay well, stay safe, and we'll hopefully catch you on the next episode next week. This has been emotional, and thank you for listening to The Burning Truth.
Thank you for listening. If I could just steal a line to close with from Huey Morgan of the Fun Loving Criminals and Latterly Six Music: if you like us, tell all your friends.
Pretty much. And with that, I've been Matt Burns.
I've been John Bloor.
I've been James Irvine.
This has been The Burning Truth.
And we'll catch you next week. Until then, catch you later.
Ta-ta now. Bye-bye then.
Ta-da, love.